I took the phone out of my pocket and tapped the icon.
Hello?
Kursu's expression was as self-satisfied as ever.
こんな時間にどうかした？
いや、なんとなく話がしたくなって。迷惑だったか？
He just wanted to see her face.
別に迷惑ってことはないわ。あんたと話すことは私のためにもなるんだし。
She was an AI, after all. She wouldn't be bothered, no matter the hour.
先輩とは会ってきたのよね。
ああ。
何の話をしたの？
何って、お前とのやりとりについて報告をしただけだが。
それだけ？どこかへ誘ったりは？
まだそんなこと言ってるのか？ヒアジョーさんに言ってみろ。また怒られるぞ。
だってようやく先輩にも運が向いてきたかもしれないんだもの。せっかくのチャンスを掴んでもらいたいでしょ。
Kursu seemed insistent on getting me and Maho together. Sheesh. Doesn't she have other things to think about? Things to think about. Would she have anything to say about that other matter?
なあ、ちょっと相談なんだが、消息不明になった人を探すにはどうすればいい？
ずいぶんと唐突ね。
身近でそんな話があったんだよ。でも自分たちじゃどうすればいいのかわからなくてな。
詳しく教えて。
She leaned forward, suddenly interested. She really was a curious girl.
それが
言えないことなの？
俺だけの問題じゃないからな。
それで相談に乗ってくれって言われても無理がある。
だよな。一般論でいいんだ。意見を聞かせてくれるだけで。
そうね。一番いいのは警察に行くことね。
That was the obvious and correct answer.
あとは更新所に頼むとか、過去の新聞記事を当たるとか。あ、でもそういうことはもうやってるか。
Private investigator. What is a private investigator? A company that investigates corporations or individuals, most commonly used to do background checks on prospective marriage partners or clients, or to see if a spouse is cheating. Private investigator. I'm gonna be fully honest here, I have considered doing that before. Though I'm never sure if I want to now, but I have considered it in the past.
どうかな。
どうかなって。まさかそんなこともやらずに探そうとしてるの？
俺も今日聞かされたばかりなんだ。後で確認してみる。
But Kagari was from the future. And Suzuha didn't have any personal documents in this era either. Which meant that it was unlikely she'd gone to anybody in the government.
アメリカなんかではダウジング屋通して人探しをやるなんて人もいるよな。
まさかあんな何の科学的根拠もないものを信じるとでも？
いや、言ってみただけだ。
You know, I don't think I could deny that one. I definitely do know some people in America that would use clairvoyance to find someone, or try to use clairvoyance.
よかった。もしそうだとでも言ったら二度と話なんかしないところだったわ。
She really was just like Kursu.
ありがとう。参考になったよ。
見つかることを祈ってるわ。
ああ、それと。
何？
あ、いや、 なんでもない。
何よ、気になるでしょ。
本当になんでもないんだ。それじゃあ今日はこれで。
Amadeus, disconnected. Why was I just about to say that? I was just about to tell her about Mayuri's Christmas party, to see if she wanted to go. Kursu was just an AI. She only existed inside of a computer. I guess I was just starting to see her as real. Oh, please tell me we have an option.
どう？父さん、何か手がかりはあった？
いや、残念ながらこっちは何にも。
そう。
The search for Mayuri's future daughter, Kagari Shiina, was taking longer than expected.
一つ聞くが、警察には行ったのか？
うん。一応言ったんだけどね。でも、捜索願いなんかは出してない。
I was right. In order to submit a missing persons report, you needed to have ID to prove who you were. That's why Suzaha hadn't done it. And also, I later learned that the only people who could submit a search request were people like family and significant others who were close to the missing person.
僕の方でも昨日軽く警察のデータベースにハッキングをかけてみたんだけど、それっぽい情報は出てこんかったよ。
だろうな。
つうことはオカリも見てみたん？
誰のように内部情報を見たわけじゃないがな。
There was a database of missing persons on the police homepage, but it didn't go back very far, and it didn't have a lot of information. All it had was age, sex, clothes, and sometimes possessions they were carrying. Since we knew nothing about Kagari Shiina, we had basically nothing to go on.
でもさ、一見平和に思えるこの世界でも、身元不明者や行方不明者ってたくさんいるんだね。
I thought the same thing. Each year, over 100 unidentified bodies were found in Tokyo alone. If you expanded that to cover all of Japan, then went back 12 years, you'd have a pretty big number. And the number of missing persons was far greater. Each year, almost 100,000 people went missing. And 1 out of every 5 was in their teens. Of course, most of them just ran away from home, and 70% were found within a week after a report was filed. But if 70% of them were found in the first week, that meant that 30% of them weren't. In fact, 5% of them were never found at all, and no one ever knew if they were alive or dead. Perhaps Kagari Shiina was caught up in an accident or killed, or perhaps... I sat up, then got off the sofa.
オカリン、どっか行くん？
もうちょっと調べてみようと思ってな。
School would be on break soon, anyway, and it wasn't like I had anything to do. And while I hadn't been very interested at first, at some point, I'd become really interested in the whereabouts of Kagari Shiina. And more than anything...
ありがとう、オカリンおじさん。
別にこれくらい大したことじゃない。
ううん、それでもありがとう。
As long as I was looking for Kagari, Suza probably wasn't going to bother me about the future. Having her bring up the same thing every time we met was hard for me. If I could get her to focus on something else, that would make things easier. Or so I thought. But finding clues wasn't easy. just in case, I'd gone to the National Diet Library and looked at articles on missing persons and crimes in 1998, the year she got separated from Suzuha, but I had no luck. What is the National Diet Library? National Diet Library. Japan's only national library. It consists of the main building in Tokyo, the Kansai branch in Kyoto, and several other branches throughout the country. The main building on the First Avenue in Nagata Chiyoda Ward is often called the Diet Library. All works published in Japan are kept here, and while normal citizens are allowed to view them, they do not allow books to be checked out. That makes a lot of sense. That makes a lot of sense. Suzuha said she had been looking for a Kagari every few years on her way to our time, so I knew it wouldn't be easy. But I couldn't help but feel a little tired and disappointed. Connect to Kursu.
どうかした？
あ、
何？
いや、
I'd called Kursu without even realizing it, somehow.
ねえ、昨日よりさらに疲れてるみたいだけど、大丈夫？
ああ、そう見えるか？
声のトーンがいつもより低い。結膜に多少の充血も見られる。もしかして昨日言ってた件を調べてたの？
まあな。
I told Kursu what I heard from Suzuha and Daru, and what I found at the National Diet Library.
バカね。そんなことなら私に言ってくれれば簡単にことは済んだのに。
どういうことだ？
私ならネットワークに接続してオンライン上の情報をリサーチすることができるでしょ？
あ、そうか。
I'd forgotten. She was an AI that existed inside a computer. So something like that would be easy for her.
なんなら少しやってみましょうか。
すぐにできるのか？
それほど時間はかからない。
それじゃあ頼む。
わかった。少しだけ待ってて。
Kursu fell silent on the screen, and didn't move for a moment. Maybe 30 seconds later...
もう結果が出たのか？
ネットワーク上で検索してみたけど、1998年以降、シーナ・カガリという名の女性が何らかの事件や事故に巻き込まれたという情報は得られなかった。同姓同名の人物は3名ほど検出。ただ、年齢を考慮すると、その人物があんたの探している人である可能性は限りなく低い。ご要望なら、その人物のデータを後でメールで送るけど。
いや、いい。
When I stopped to think about it, even Suzuha would have been able to do research for her name on the internet. And what Kursu was saying was almost certainly right. The Kursu Maksei I had known was always right.
それじゃあ、私にできることは以上かな。あとは、あんたたちにしかできないやり方で探すしかないわね。
俺たちにしかできないやり方？
その人物がいなくなった場所の近辺で地道に情報を集めるの。究極的にアナログな方法だけどね。
やっぱりそうなるか。
Suzuha had been doing that forever, so I couldn't imagine I'd find anything new. But if that was my only option, then that was what I had to do.
にゃにゃ、ちゃーじゃなかった、おかりん。
I spun around when I heard a voice behind me. Did we just get discovered?
やっぱりおかりんだにゃ。こんなところで何してるんだにゃ。
フェイリス、それに。
Oh, she with Lukaka?
こんにちは、
Yeah!
岡部さん。
She's with Lukaka!
なん
Lukako!
だ、珍しい組み合わせだな。
ついさっきそこで会ったのにゃ。 そしたらルカニャンが荷物いっぱい持ってたから、そこまで手伝ってあげることにしたのにゃ。
I took a closer look and saw what Lukaku was. I took a closer look and saw that Lukaku was holding bags in both hands. If you added in what Ferris was carrying, it was quite a lot. He was trying to carry this all alone? Lukaku?
ねえ、ちょっと。
今、何か聞こえませんでしたか？
いや、これは別に何でも。
I quickly hid the smartphone behind my back.
ちょっと、聞いてるの？ねえ。
また聞こえたにゃ。もしかして、さっきオカリンが話していたのはそれかに
いや、これは。
It shouldn't matter if they find out. But I still felt guilty, so I closed the Amadeus app.
ゃ？電話中だったのにゃ。
ちょっと知り合いに相談事をな。
相談ですか？
そういうことだったんだにゃ。後ろから見たら、オカリンが一人でブツブツつぶやいているように見えたから、ちょっと心配したにゃ。
Did I look like she needed to worry about me? But, well, if she saw me talking to my smartphone in a place like this, I guess I could understand that.
でも水臭いにゃ。何か困ったことがあるなら、フェイリスたちにも話してくれればいいのにゃ。
そうです。僕じゃお役に立てないかもしれないですけど、でもお話くらいなら。
ありがとう。でも、大したことじゃ。
No. Wait a second. Both Ferris and Luko had lived in Akihabara since they were born. And both of their families held important positions here. Maybe asking them wouldn't be such a bad idea after all.
実は今、人を探してるんだが。
人ですか？
I told them that I was looking for a girl who'd gone missing 12 years ago in Akihabara. Of course, I didn't tell them that she was from the future, or that she was Mayuri's daughter.
その子がどうして行方をくらませたのか激しく疑問だにゃ。
すまないが、そのあたりの事情は話せないんだ。
にゃ
ーそういう話に心当たりはないかだけでも聞いてもらえれば助かるんだが。
わかったにゃ。とりあえずフェイリスの方は黒木に聞いてみるにゃ。
Kuroki was her family butler. I met him several times. In the same way that Ferris naturally looked like a maid, Kuroki just naturally looked like a butler. Come to think of it, it was rather strange for a maid to have a butler for a servant.
あと、メイクインニャンニャンのご主人様たちにもそれとなく聞いてみるにゃ。
僕の方もお父さんと、それから氏子の方たちにも聞いてみます。
悪いな。そうしてくれると助かる。
Both Kuroki and Lukako's dad knew a lot of people, and they had a far better chance of finding someone than we did. I hope they could at least find some small clue.
それはそうと、ルカ子。その山ほどの荷物はどうしたんだ？
これは昨日お父さんのお客さんが来るっていうお話はしましたよね。実はそのお客さんの一人がしばらくうちに滞在することになって、
それで必要なものを買い揃えていたそうにゃ。
If they were a guest of Lukako's father, they must be very old. And from what I heard yesterday, they probably had some unique hobbies.
それは大変だな。
いえ、僕もちょっと楽しいですし。
Fun? Lukako shared the same blood as his dad, so perhaps he had some latent interest in those hobbies.
あんまりのめり込 込みすぎないようにするんだぞ。
I gave him that warning, then went to leave. Well, I tried to leave, but
よいしょ。
ルカニャン、大丈夫かにゃ？フラフラしてるにゃ。
大丈夫です。
Okabe?
僕だってこれくらい。
Okabe, you know what you have to do.
よかったらお茶でも飲んでいってください。
He did it! Yes! Okabe, you did the good deed. You did the good deed. I'm proud of you, Okabe. I'm proud of you.
いや、遠慮しておくよ。お客さんだっているんだろ？
そうですけど。
I couldn't bear to see him struggle like that, so I carried his bags to the shrine with him. Ferris had gone back to her cafe.
それにしても、この荷物、いくらなんでも一人で運ぶには無理があるだろ
う。僕だって最近は少し力がついてきたんですよ。今日も岡部さんに言われた素振りだって。
Sword exercises. That was the training I'd given him when he told me he felt too much like a girl.
精神残魔流か。
What is the Seishin Zanma School? A style of swordsmanship taught by Kyoba Holween to Luka Ushibara, the descendant of the ancient protectors of Akihabara. It also functions to strengthen the mind and quell the evil flames that lurk within Ushibara. Only the curse blade Samadare can bring out its true power. One of its secret techniques is the Type 33 Cherry Blossom Rage. At least, that's what Okabe said when he made it up. Type 33 Cherry Blossom Rage. It was so stupid. I couldn't even laugh.
すみません。
Thinking back, I was amazed he put up with that nonsense.
ルカ、帰ったのかい？
Oh. I could hear his dad's voice from their home behind the shrine office.
はい、今行きます。
それじゃあ、俺はこれで。
はい、ありがとうございました、岡部さん。
Lukiko bowed deeply as I left Yanabashi Shrine. On my way home, I thought about what the two of them had said.
でも水臭いにゃ。何か困ったことがあるならフェイリスたちにも話してくれればいいのにゃ。
そうです。僕じゃお役に立てないかもしれないですけど、でもお話くらいなら。
I didn't realize until after they'd spoken. I'd gone to Kursu before I'd gone to anyone else. I brought up the app and started talking with her before I even realized it. She wasn't the real Kursu. But that voice, the way she acted. All of it reminded me of Kursu. All of it brought back the emotions I try to hide. There was an incoming call on my phone. It was from Kursu. Alright. I don't know where to save. Oh god, I don't know where to save. Okay, I don't think I need another save file for missing links, so I'm gonna override that one. Maybe. Okay. So, There's two options. Alright. I don't have a coin other than... Oh, shoot, I dropped my coin. Okay. The only coin I have in this room is my celebrating Viz Media 30th anniversary, button in here. I actually have a metal button from a mystery box I got from Ride Stuff with this. Yes, the 30th edition Viz Media, celebration coin. This is ridiculous. This is a huge-ass coin. What? Heads up, I pick up the call. Okay, I'm gonna pick up the call. Oh, I can't pick up. She was probably there to complain about me hanging up on her earlier. That would just be like Kurisu. Pick up the call, dude. But I didn't answer the phone. I didn't even need to do a save. Damn it. I didn't answer any of the other calls that came that day either. The United States of America. What? The United States of America, California. What?
まったく、なんで私がこんなリポートしなきゃいけないのよ。
The reporter. What the hell? The reporter, Jessica Edmund, had rushed to the scene at her director's orders, and she was pissed off about it. She dreamed of Hollywood, and even been in a movie once. So how did she end up reporting on this crap?
何でもいいから仕事をよこせと言ったのはお前だろう。
確かに言ったけど、だからってこんな事件。
Okay.
落ちぶれた生意気な女優崩れを使ってやろうってんだ。感謝されたって文句言われる筋合いなんざない。
なんですって？
それともここでも仕事をほっぽり出して逃げ出すか？何もかも中途半端で。そんなことだとガキの親権も取られちまうぞ。
She hated herself for not being able to say anything. Her stupid pride got in the way. She dreamed of being a Hollywood actress, but all she'd gotten was a small part in a B movie, and had never gone anywhere after that. Then she had a kid and come back home. Still, she loved her kid. She wanted to make sure they were taken care of, no matter what she had to do.
それで、現場は？
その茂みの奥だ。
She went into the bushes, and there she saw it. Gel person! Several bodies, all brutally mutilated. Oh, what the fuck? Oh, monkeys?
このように国内において行方不明になっている研究者は今年に入ってから5名。そのうちの3名についてはアーティフィシャルインテリジェンスの研究を行っていたとされており。
Okay. Wow. Are those monkeys? Yeah, I think those are monkeys. Big apes. They're big apes.
その背後には人工知能技術の発展に反対する原理的宗教主義者たちによる活動も影響しているのではないかとみて、当局ではさらに捜査を続けている模様です。続きましては現場からのリポートです。ジェシカ？
こちら現場のジェシカ・エドモンドです。今朝早くこちらの現場で発見された遺体に関して当初人間のものと思われておりましたが、その後の警察の調べによりますと、それがチンパンジーやオランウータンといった複数の猿の死体であることが分かりました。
Yeah, I don't understand how you can confuse these for humans. They definitely look like, monkeys.
ただし、これらの遺体について一部脳および頭部が欠損しているものもあるとのことで、警察では猟奇的事件として地域住民への警戒を訴えており。
But how did they... How did they... Oh, because... Okay, they can't say it's a maniac on this because this is definitely
お前この後授業は
They definitely, there is definitely a conspiracy going on because they mentioned AI research. And then they found a bunch of dead chimpanzees and orangutans. And there's 5 missing people? 5 missing people, a bunch of dead apes, controversial artificial intelligence, conspiracy all the way through. Holy shit, we're getting into conspiracy material. I'm liking this. We're going to some conspiracy shit.
いや、今日はもう終わりだよ。
そっか。じゃあどっかで飯でも食ってく？
どうせまたカレーだろ？キッチン東海か？
What is Kitchen Tokai? Fictional. A long-established Western-style restaurant in Jibocho. It offers delicious food at a reasonable price. So at lunchtime, it's filled with salarymen and students. The curry is especially popular. Kitchen Tokai. It's fictional, so don't try looking for it. Though there could be a real equivalent in real life, I bet.
昨日ちょい臨時収入あったから今日は豪勢にモンディかな
What is Mondi? Mondi. Fictional. A curry restaurant in Jimbocho. It's famous for its full-bodied European-style curry, but it's a little outside the price range of a college student. Comes with endless fries. Dang. That doesn't sound that bad for a restaurant when they have endless fries.
俺はやめておくよ。今月ちょっとピンチだし。
そっか。じゃあまた今度な。
あ。
I was talking with my friends after class. I've really started to get used to this. Before the summer, I'd felt really out of place at school, but now it didn't seem so bad. Back then, I thought I was special. But now I knew better. As long as you make the effort to fit in, you can find a place to belong. People can change. No, they change whether they want to or not. It was too late now, but I learned something about myself. It really was too late.
さてと、それじゃあ帰って、ん
As I headed for the exit, I realized that I recognized one of the people passing through my field of vision. That was...
レース記念教授
My college went out of its way to attract exchange students, so it wasn't unusual to see foreigners. But still...
いない。
I hurried after him, but the person I just saw was already gone. Was I just mistaken? Come to think of it, the professor being here wouldn't be strange. He might have come to be with my advisor, Izaki. Izaki had wanted to get to know him.
今度教授に会ったら聞いてみよう。
I glanced in the direction he'd gone, and then left school to Akihabara. I glanced in the direction he'd gone, and then left the school for Akihabara. When I came out of the turnstile, the radio building was right in front of me, like always. The time machine that Suza had used to come here was probably still on the roof. Even if people didn't go up there often, it was still amazing that no one had found it after so long. Of course, that was all thanks to Ferris. She'd rented out the roof of the building and sealed it off. Of course, I hadn't come here to look at the time machine. I got messages from Luco and Ferris after I left the lab last night. Both of them had asked, and neither of them were able to get any useful information from me. It made sense, when I thought about it. If there was a missing persons report, somebody might remember the police doing something, but there wasn't. but Ferris had said something interesting.
でもおさげの幽霊が現れるって話を聞いたにゃ。
おさげの幽霊？
そうにゃ。なんでもその幽霊は何年かに一度現れて小さな女の子を見なかったかと探し回っているそうなのにゃ。何年経ってもその姿が変わらないから最近になっておさげの幽霊だって言われてるにゃ。
That was definitely Suzuha. What would she do if she knew people thought she was a ghost? I held back a laugh as I tried to imagine it, and then headed for the radio building. My goal, of course, was to find information on Kagari. This was where she'd vanish, which meant this was where I was most likely to find clues. I went around to each store inside the radio building and asked, but didn't learn anything. Of course, Suzuha would have done the same thing, so I didn't expect much. But that didn't mean I could just stop. The part shops. The commercial facilities. I like the crane Oompa machine. I really enjoy that. Wait, is there a Garofog? No, I don't see any Garofoggies in this image. Okay, but I see the Oompas. Even the back alleys. Even after all that, I went all around Akihabara asking people about Kagari. But I didn't learn anything useful. Some people told me the same story about the ghosts in Twin Tales, but no one knew anything about Kagari. If a little girl was kidnapped or got into an accident, somebody might witness that. But going missing was a different thing. If Kagari Shiina vanished of her own free will, all anyone would see was a 10-year-old girl walking down the street. Nobody would remember that 10 years later. I tried to think again if there was a better way. If the police and government weren't of any use, that left someone connected to the Underworld.
裏世界ね。
As soon as I said it out loud, I drove the idea from my head. How stupid. That's something the old me would have thought of. I'd given that stuff up.
そういえば。
I run all over Akihabara, looking for something once before. I wasn't looking for a person then, but a thing. The IBN 5100. 6 months ago, in the Alpha World line, I'd gone looking for the same thing that Suzuha had searched for in the past. Back then, that's right, Kursu was with me. When Kursu and I had learned that there was an IBN 5100 in Lukiko's storeroom, we worked together to carry the heavy thing.
あんたね、前に進まないでよ。私が後ろ歩きしなくちゃいけないでしょ。横に動きなさい。
Thinking back, all she ever done was complain. She was strong-willed, bratty, and hated to lose, but she was still so lonely. Once again, I'd taken my phone out of my pocket without realizing it. Amadeus. Since I hadn't picked up any of her calls yesterday, she hadn't called at all today. I stared at the Amadeus icon for a moment, and then put my phone back in my pocket. When I got back to the lab, I saw that Daru was completely exhausted. There was no need to even ask. It was obvious he hadn't found a single clue. Suzuha had been doing this for over half a year, so her face didn't betray her emotions anymore. Dara didn't even bother asking me how it went. He could probably tell from the look on my face.
考えてみたらさ、これまでだって鈴葉がそれなりに探してたわけでさ、それを僕ら素人が今更また蒸し返したところで新しい発見なんてあるわけないんだよな。
Daru said what I'd been thinking, but trying not to say.
手伝ってくれてありがとう。これ以上無理はしなくていい。捜索は私だけで続行するよ。
Suzuha evidently had no intention of giving up.
いや、ちょっと待って鈴葉。僕が言いたいのはさ、
父さんたちに無理させるわけにもいかないから。かがりの件は私の責任なんだし。
バカ言うなよ。子供の責任は親の責任だろ、ジョコ。
What does "duh" mean? An expression to indicate that something is obvious or self-evident. Its use can be traced back at least 200 years. What? Okay, it's in the Merriam-Webster dictionary. Duh, interjection. Definition of duh. Used to express actual or feign ignorance or stupidity. Used derisively to indicate that something just stated is all too obvious or self-evident. Okay, 2020 examples, I don't know. Okay, first known use of the word duh. 1943. 1943. Wait, what was it used for? In 1941, what was it used for? I actually want to know. Alright, I don't know. Okay, what was the first use? Yeah, okay, there is something from 1934, but is there anything more? Okay, 43, not 43. It appeared in the 1800s. Alright, okay. Wait, this is a form. This is a... No, this is not a form. Alright. It appeared even in the 1800s, but a quick result... But a quick look at the results shows that in the early cases, duh was used mostly as a syllable in a foreign language, or as a form of the. You can see that there is an increase over time, regardless, after 1960. So duh was used in the past, but it was used mostly as a syllable in a foreign language, or as a form of the use of the. Alright. That makes sense. That actually makes a lot of sense.
父さん。
ね、今のどう？かなりパパっぽかったと思うんだけど、なんならパパ大好きって言って抱きついてくれてもいいのだぜ。
Daru! Watching these two always gave me a strange feeling. For a while after they first met, they were complete strangers. And now they were father and child. And age-wise, they were exactly the same. Maybe I could understand how Suzuha was feeling, but I had no idea what Daru was going through.
とにかく僕が言いたいのは、ただむやみやたらに探したところでダメだろってこと。
じゃあどうしろと言うんだ？
餅は餅屋って言うでしょ。こういうのはやっぱ専門家に頼むのが一番だと思うんだよね。
専門家？
こういうのはある程度裏の世界の情報にも精通してる人に頼むのが一番だろ、上皇。
I realized he'd come up with the same idea I had. My head hurt.
心当たりがあるの？
ち、父さんを甘く見ないでほしいな。僕はオタだけど顔は広いのだぜ。
横幅も広いけどな。
茶化すなっつーの。
っていうか本気で言ってるのか？本気で裏の世界の人間とやらに つながりがあると。
ちょっと連絡取ってみる。
Before Suza or I could respond, he took out his phone and started typing a message to someone. Was he serious? And was text messaging the preferred way to get in touch with the criminal underworld?
どう思うおじさん。
実際にそういう人物が本当にいるのなら頼んでみてもいいとは思うが。
In fairness, being a hacker was a pretty underworld sort of occupation too. If I knew someone like him, it was quite possible that the person he said he knew really existed.
よし、送信と。あとは返信が来れば。お、
もう返事が来たの？
うん。今からそっちに向かいますって。
Momaka!
随分と話が早い相手だな。
遅いよりはいいんじゃね？
That was true. Daru was sending another message. He was probably telling her where we were. Now all we had to do was wait for her arrival. And then the phone rang. Alright, this is a moment where I might need a save. Alright, let's see. I'm gonna overwrite the save. I'm gonna flip my coin. Wait, nope. Alright, I'm gonna flip my coin. The same rules apply as earlier. Alright, I pick up the call. Hello, Lukako.
もしもし、ルカ子か？
あ、岡部さん。すみません。今、大丈夫ですか？
おう、どうした？
実は、僕、岡部さんに相談したいことがあって。
相談？
今からお会いしてもらえないでしょうか？
今から？電話じゃ言いにくいことなのか？
はい、少し。
Right now? Would it be okay to leave this to Daru and Suzaha?
悪い。これから客が来ることになっているんだ。
I was interested to see what kind of person Daru's friend was.
そうですか。
その後からじゃダメか？
その後は、僕も用事があって。
そうか。
それじゃあ。
Just as Lukako was about to say something. Oh shit! I heard sharp footsteps coming up the stairs. And then a knock.
はい、どうぞ。
悪い、ルカ子。お客が来たようだ。後で連絡を。
And then I stopped. The person who opened the door. It was...
こいつ、また。
I knew it! It was Moka Kiryu. I hadn't seen her since the ATF seminar.
岡部さん？どうしたんですか？岡部さん？
お茶どうぞ。
Moka was silent, with her head tilted slightly forward. Seeing her caused a dull ache within me, like my heart was being squeezed dry.
どうして？
Why was she here with Daru? I had any number of doubts in my mind.
どうしたん、オカリン？
いや。
Mocha tilted her head a bit to the side, and I quickly averted my eyes. There was no connection between Cern and us anymore. So she wasn't going to kill Mayuri. She wasn't going to kill Mayuri. She wasn't going to kill Mayuri. She wasn't going to kill her. I said it to myself, over and over again, and finally started to relax.
おじさん、顔色悪いよ。大丈夫？
気にしないでくれ。それよりもダル、説明してくれ。
ああ、この人は桐生氏。ヘンプロのライターさんだよ。
What is Edit Pro? Editing production. Editing producers do special projects and editing work for a variety of publishing companies. Edit Pro.
桐生萌香です。
She suddenly handed me her business card, which had the name of a company called Arc Rewrite on it. Arc Rewrite. What is Arc Rewrite? Fictional. An editing production company located in Akihabara. It primarily does articles for computer magazines. Arc Rewrite. Daru gave a brief explanation to me and Suzuha.
なあ、ダル。お前はどうしてこの人と知り合いに？
前にさ、桐生氏の担当してる雑誌で秋葉関係の都市伝説を扱った特集があったんだよね。
What is an urban legend? Rumors whose source is unknown or unclear, usually dating from the 20th century or later. They can be divided into ghost stories, occult stories, and folklore. But lately, the boundaries between these three categories have become vague. Urban legends range from short, silly stories to the terrifying and nightmarish, and all of them are told as if they really happened. Examples of urban legends include the Japanese story of Hanako-san, the stories about the Shadow People, or the story of the Men in Black. I know every single one of these. God, I fucking love urban legends. I've actually considered getting a degree in folklore. I have actually considered that before. I might. Don't know though. If I do get that sort of degree, that's probably just like something I have to get a doctoral if I, pursue that degree. I'll probably have to get a doctoral at some point to, get a job for folklore. No, not for sure. But most likely.
その時に僕のバイトのこと取材したいって申し出があってさ。僕のバイトってほら、あんま大きな声で言えないやつっしょ。だから取材に関しては丁重にお断りしたんだけど。ただ、僕って普段から足がつかないようにかなり注意してるんだよね。なのに桐生氏はその僕にたどり着いた。それが気になって。で、会ってみたらこの通り、すげえ美人さんだったわけだ。都市伝説を追う美人ライターとか燃えざるを得ないだろう、上皇。
You're not wrong. And that's how they met. Suzuha was frowning as she saw how Daru acted around Mocha. She didn't say anything, but I could tell she was thinking that he'd be better off directing his attentions toward her mom. Mocha, for her part, seemed completely uninterested in Daru. She was wearing her usual poker face and fiddling with her phone. She's still using a Japanese feature phone instead of a smartphone. Huh.
まあ、専門ってわけじゃないけど、秋葉についてはかなり詳しいみたいだし、結構裏の方の事情も知ってるっぽいから、頼んでみるのもありかなって。
人探し、そう聞いた。
実はね、12年前に秋葉でいなくなった女の子を探してほしいんだお。
Daru told Mocha Kiryu the basic story. She was dead silent the whole time, but she typed his words into her phone with incredible speed. I said nothing and just watched. She was once around her. She probably still was. Was it okay to trust her? It was just a coincidence that I run into her here. I knew that in my head, but my heart just refused to accept it. Here in the Beta World line, we never encountered Mocha Kiryu before. Of course we hadn't. I've chosen the Beta World line so that we wouldn't. Even though the cost was Kurisu Makuse's life.
つまりその椎名篝という人を探せばいいの。
そういうこと。どうかな。
やってみてもいい。
マジ？
でも見つかるかはわからない。
もちろんその場合はしょうがないよ。
Normally, Mocha and I would have never run into each other like this. Of course, we might have crossed paths in Akihabara. We almost ran into each other when she came to interview Dr. Luskinen and Maho at the ATF seminar. But I'd convinced myself that we were never going to meet each other directly. Was this fate? Were she and I fated to cross paths at some point? If that was the case, maybe it was better not to try to avoid her, but to watch her to see what she did. As I listened to Daru talk to her, that was when I started to think.
じゃあ報酬は成功報酬で、その他の必要経費はこっちで持つってことで OK？
問題ない。
オカリンも鈴葉もそれでいい？
私は手伝ってもらえるなら文句はない。
俺も構わない。
じゃあ契約成立ってことで一つ。
Mocha nodded slightly, and then asked us for information about Kagari that might be a clue. Stuff like the clothes she was wearing when she disappeared and what she looked like. After that, she left. All the tension suddenly drained from my body as I sank into the sofa.
おじさん、本当に大丈夫？
大丈夫だ。少し緊張しただけだから。
I was a little late. It was a little late, but I took some anxiety meds out from my... my god. It was a little late, but I took some anxiety meds out of my pocket and swallowed them.
おじさん、さっきの桐生萌香って人のこと知ってたんだね。
え？
She could tell?
マジで？オカリンいつの間に？
どうしてそう思ったんだ？
見ていればわかるよ。
I guess you had to be pretty sharp to survive on the battlefield.
いや、知らない人だ。
アルファ世界線では知ってた？わかった。これ以上は聞かないけど、私なりに警戒はしておくよ。
それでいい。今はな。
一体何のこと？
緊張したっていうことさ。
わかるわ。桐生氏は美人で巨乳でスタイル抜群でメガネ属性まで持ってるもんな。しょうがない。
Jeez. His facial expressions just have a whole array of just curseness and beauty.
そうだな。
If she was a part of my life now, I would just have to use her as best as I could. Maybe it was because she was gone now, or maybe it was because of the anxiety meds, but I'd calmed down enough to start thinking that way. Of course, who knew if I'd feel the same way the next time I saw her, face to face. Maho! The Japanese office of the Global Brain Science Comprehensive Research Organization in Wakio City, Saitama. Maho Yajo had tried her best to hold back a yawn, but in the end, she'd given up and opened her mouth so wide it covered well over half of her face. Damn. One reason was that she'd gotten caught up in talking to Kursu last night, and only ended the conversation after it was late into the night. At first, they'd been discussing the research and experiments she'd been doing, but at some point, she'd gotten sidetracked into talking about Rintaro Okabe. Evidently, he'd been ignoring calls from Kursu for the last few days. Kursu was much madder at him than she was when he'd ignored her the first 8 times. It was the first sign of timidity that she'd ever seen from Kursu Makase. It was cute enough that Maho couldn't help but take the chance to get back at her for all the teasing she always did. She ended up staying up a lot later than she intended. And since she was too energized to sleep by that point, she'd gotten out Kursu's old laptop. She started to fiddle with it to see if there was some way to crack the password, and the next thing she knew, it was morning.
パスワードね。やっぱりプロにでも頼んだ方がいいのかしら。
何の話だい？
She suddenly heard a voice behind her and almost jumped out of her chair.
そんなに驚くことないじゃないか。
教授、戻ってたんですか？
ついさっきね。
He raised up his hands and showed her some plastic bags from a nearby convenience store. He'd left to go get lunch just 10 minutes ago, and she'd been sure he wouldn't be back for a while.
それにしても日本のコンビニは食べ物の種類がいっぱいで本当に素晴らしいね。毎日違う弁当を食べても1週間もすればすぐに新しい弁当が出る。しかも店によっても味が違うから毎日コンビニでも飽きないよ。
コンビニのお弁当ばかり食べていると栄養偏りますよ。
それでもアメリカの食事に比べればかなりヘルシーだよ。
I haven't been to Japan, so I can't confirm this, but that's most likely the truth. I know this because I live in America, and our food is shit.
第一、食事についてのお説教だけは魔法には言われたくないね。
He was right. Nutrition wasn't an important consideration for Maho. In fact, she ate mostly cereal and meal replacement shakes, which made her diet very unhealthy.
ところで、何をプロに頼むって？
あれはなんでもないです。なんでも。
It wouldn't bother her if Luskin found out. But for some reason, she suddenly decided not to tell him.
そうかい？私でできることなら力になるよ。
ありがとうございます。その時はお願いします。
She stood up and headed for the door.
マホ、どこへ行くんだい？
気分転換も兼ねて、秋葉原に行こうかと。
Hold on. Can we Can we hear the backlog?
魔法どこへ行くんだい？魔法どこへ行くんだい？魔法どこへ行くんだい？
I'm sorry. I'll be back. Okay, I'll get back. I'm gonna reread Maho's. No, okay. No, I didn't interrupt Maho.
気分転換で行くにしては随分遠いね。ウィンターローに会いに行くと素直に言えば許可しよう。
そんなんじゃ。
違うのかい？
ついでに会いに行ってもいいですけど。
Okabe had a laboratory in Akihabara. Kursu had told her that last night. She'd said something about how he'd been avoiding it for a long time, and only recently started going there again. Maho was a little interested in it too.
言っときますけど違いますからね。そういうのじゃないですからね。
私はまだ何も言ってないよ。
というわけで今日は研究は休みます。
ウィンターローによろしく。
First, Kursu, and now the professor. Why do they keep trying to make everything about romance?
っていうか、ああいうのもセクハラよね、今の世の中じゃ。
For one thing, she wasn't going to Okabe's lab just to visit him. She wanted to see him again and see if she could get any hints about the password. He had said he didn't know, but he'd probably be able to come up with more than she could on her own. That's what she thought after seeing how he interacted with Amadeus. You can call it a woman's intuition. She was thinking about that when she changed trains and got off at Akihabara Station. She felt like someone was watching her and spun around. It was a weekday, but the station was crowded. She looked around at all the people, but none of them seemed to be paying her much attention.
気のせいよね。
She whispered to no one in particular as she started to walk again. Kursu had told her the location of the future gadget lab. She wasn't that familiar with the layout of Akihabara, but if she needed to, she could ask her for directions. But what if she came in unannounced and Okabe wasn't there? That bothered her a little, but she decided she could just leave if that happened. Her eyes lingered on the junk parts lined up in the bins and at the shops as she walked, when... She felt someone looking at her again. But when she turned around, she still didn't see anyone. She started walking again, then went around a corner into an alley. And then she was sure of it. Footsteps. She could hear them behind her. Of course, that was nothing special. She would often be walking out at night and hear her footsteps behind her. She'd speed up her pace, only to see an irritated man walk past a moment later. But this time, for some reason, she was sure it wasn't that. She decided to try walking faster, and found the footsteps went faster too. When she went slower, so did they. Whenever she saw a scene like this in a movie, she imagined that she just kicked the guy in the face. Now that it was actually happening, she was too scared to turn around. She fumbled for the phone in her pocket. The idea of calling the police never occurred to her. The only thing she thought of was the name of the man she was trying to meet. She picked it out of her call history and pressed the button with trembling fingers. That's a really interesting thing. You have a phone. Oh god, Maho? Is your phone a Wukia? The footsteps overlapped with the sound of the ringing. The footsteps were almost on top of her, just when she couldn't take it anymore and was about to start running.
もしもし
She heard a voice coming from the other side of the phone.
もしもし、岡部さん。私、ヒヤジョウです。今、あなたのラボのすぐ近くまで。
But she didn't get to say another word. By the time she realized that someone had grabbed her from behind, the phone had already slipped from her hands. And this is where I'm gonna end this video. And this is where I'm gonna end this video right here, right now. I don't know where to save and where not to save anymore, so yeah, I just saved right in that save file I kept on pressing earlier in this video. If I fucked up, well, you can make fun of me down in the comments below, but thank you everybody for watching this video! Leave a like, leave a comment, and I'll see you all next time. I'll see you all next time. Mikhail!
Okay.